blockity block block, block on Twitter, block on Instagram, block on Facebook, block on phone, block Hi guys, it's Myke'la here if you're new, and if you're not, hey girl. So you already know by the title what's going down today. I said I was gonna do a get ready with me and explain this story, but I actually filmed it and I don't know, it was some parts where I couldn't talk and a mess. So I'm just gonna do it this way. And if you want to see how I do my makeup, I do have videos already on my channel of how I do my makeup, what I use and stuff like that, and actual tutorials and other get ready with me. So yeah girl, so y'all better go grab some popcorn, grab a drink, some wine, some something, because this story, actually the story isn't even all that intense, but girl, it's some tea. Okay, so I don't know, sit back and enjoy the ride, and I hope you enjoy this video. And I do want to, before I get into the video, my whole purpose of sharing this video was that women can start seeing red flags. I don't know, this video is just educational for everybody, for the man, for the woman, stuff like that. Like, I feel like social media has played a big role in toxicity being normal, and it's not. So yeah, but like I said, sit back and I'm about to spill the tea. Okay, so this story took place when I was still going to Spelman. I was a senior at this time, so I'm gonna give my ex a nickname and we're gonna call him Jose. So yeah, so me and Jose dated from the end of my freshman year, like the last semester, to the first semester of my senior year, and I don't even think we made it even that far. Yeah. So just to give you some background, I'm just gonna list a couple of things he's done before so you can just get the type of person Jose was. Jose did have a couple mental issues, which I did not find out until his dad told me after all of this had happened. So just to throw out some things, like I caught him cheating and he broke my phone because I shouldn't have caught him. That was one thing. He leaked my nudes when I would break up with him. Like, he would just do a list of terrible things, tweet about me, say all kind of nasty and mean things when we would fight. Like, it was just all bad, and part of it is, I'm not gonna blame myself for what happened completely, but if I had listened to the red flags and went with my gut, I wouldn't have been in this situation. I had family members who didn't want nothing to do with him. I had friends who didn't want nothing to do with him. I had friends who didn't want nothing to do with me because I wanted something to do with him. Like, I lost a lot of important relationships in my life because of this situation. Also, it was a point to where my dad like didn't want me hanging out with him and stuff like that because of the type of person he was. So he was also banned from my school because of another incident that happened. But it's so many stories with what happened and the events that it's just so much to put in one video. So yeah, so I gave you like a slew of things that happened and stuff like that, so you can get what kind of person I was dealing with. So I'm just gonna start off with the beginning of my senior year. I knew I was about to graduate. I knew I had a life ahead of me. I knew I wanted to be something and be somebody, but I knew I could not be at my highest potential with him, if that makes sense. Like, I knew senior year I wanted to be on my own. Like, I knew I wanted to be able to have fun, be stress-free, graduate, pass, things of that nature, and I couldn't do that and be in a like messed up mental space in order to achieve those goals, if that makes sense. So I told my friends and we talked about it, and I told them that I wanted to end a relationship, and of course like they agreed or whatever, because literally none of my friends were just, none of them, my family either. So they agreed, and they agreed to go with me because they knew what he was capable of, being the stuff that I just gave you that he's done. And I'm not sharing this video to bash anybody, or anything, and a hit dog will holler. If you feel froggy, then jump. But this is just to share my stories and just to help other women and men too about toxic situations, because girls can do this too now. It's not just the men. Like, girls are out here shooting people cars up. It's crazy. So they agreed to go with me, so I met him at a private location, which was Popeyes, some fried chicken. Like, how can you be mad at me and it's fried chicken? Okay, so I went and met up with him there because it was right by my school. If you went to Spelman, you knew that Popeyes that was right there on the corner that burnt down I don't know how many times. But I went in there and I expressed to him, like, hey, I don't want to do this, but I said it in a very, very, very nice way. It wasn't rude, it wasn't nasty, it was nice. And I basically just like laid it all down and kind of expecting for the worst. So when I told him, I'm thinking he's about to lash across and like choke me, he was just like, okay, like, I understand and stuff like that, so calmly. And when I tell you, I broke up with him maybe like 2 or 3 times before, and they've all ended bad, like. And so when he was so calm, I was just like, oh my gosh, I want to go like this, check his forehead, like, whew, you okay? And he was just like, okay, I understand. And so I told my friends, I went back to the car, he drove off, we got in the car, and they were like, oh my god, what happened? Because they thought something juicy was gonna happen, or like something bad was gonna happen, because it always has. And so they were like, and I was like, y'all, he was cool with it. He said okay. And one of my friends was like, nah, I don't trust that, like, I don't trust that. And you know, whatever. Some months go by, and me and him, I didn't tell him we couldn't be friends or communicate, so we still communicated, we still hung out, we still, you know, kind of did like text, talk at night, like stuff like that. We hung out or whatever, but I made it clear that we weren't together. And so yeah, I made it clear we weren't together. So, and I think this is my biggest mistake. Like, I feel like I shouldn't have like played a big role in his life. I feel like I should have taken a step back. Like, if I told him we were over with and done with, I shouldn't have entertained him. I shouldn't have still been hanging out with him. But it's hard, because when you've known someone for so long and for 3 years, like, it's hard to let that go, let that person go, and you still want them in your life one way or another. That's how I was thinking. But sometimes you can't give everybody that leeway, if that makes sense, or everybody doesn't deserve a space in your life. So yeah, so months later, he would ask me, like, he would always ask me, have I moved on, am I talking to anybody else? And I feel like, one, it's not his business, because what this guy going on over here is none of your concern. And 2, we're not together, so why do you want to know? So I would lie, because when I say he would throw these like sporadic tantrums, like, if anything didn't go his way, like, he would, like, it would get really bad. And that's why I went into like the showing my nudes and putting my business out on the internet and starting drama with people. Like, it was a whole fiasco dating him. And so I didn't want to give him that information, because I didn't want him to have one of those moments again. I didn't want to experience that. I didn't want my pictures to be on the internet. I didn't want none of that. I didn't want to get threatened. I didn't want to get abused. Like, so I told him, like, I ain't messing with nobody. So at that time, I only was texting one guy, and that was all. Yeah, that's all that was. And then I had guy friends. So anywho, you know, one day he calls while I'm in class, and it's basically like, like, my parents are, I think he said something about his parents are causing him to be stressed, because allegedly, or apparently, he told me his dad has a history of cheating on his mom. That's what the people said to me. That's what he said to me. So and we're broken up now, so I'm in class and I'm like, okay, well, when I get out of class, meet me down at Spelman or whatever at the gate, because if you go to Spelman, you know guys can't come on the gate unless they're with a woman, but he's banned from the campus anyway, so he can't come on the campus. So I said, after class I'll meet you. So I walked down to the gate, met him, he in his car, he front and center, and I walked down there, and I don't plan on, I had on regular school clothes, but I didn't plan on going anywhere. So he was like, get in. And the reason why I didn't think anything of it is because we still been friends for 3 whole months. Wait, when August, September, October, yeah, September, October, November. So yeah, we still been friends for 3 whole months, and I didn't think anything of it. So me getting in his car was nothing like wild or new or anything. So yeah, he told me we were just gonna sit out there and talk, so I didn't think we were going anywhere. So he starts pulling off, and I'm like, where we going? He was like, like, wow, you got somewhere to be? And I'm like, well, I got class in 30 minutes. And so he's like, oh, well, and then like, I can tell something was up, but I thought it was a surprise or something. And so he was like, oh, I'm just going to our spot. So we used to have a spot that we would sit and talk, because guys couldn't be on campus after a certain time, and it was in the West End. It was at like this building across the street from the mall. We used to sit there and talk. So he was like, we going there. And I was like, oh, okay, like, I guess this must be something. I'm thinking I'm about to get all the tea. I'm thinking like he about to tell me. Y'all, when I say I had no idea, like, I'm like a deer in the headlights looking like when all of this went down. So we talking about school and stuff when we get there, and then he was like, who are you talking to? And I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, who are you talking to? And he had this way where he could always look at me and tell when I'm lying. I don't know how he did it, but it always worked. Like, nigga, how's you in my head? So he was like, look at me, are you lying? And I'm like, I'm not talking to nobody or whatever. Duh, I'm lying, because I mean, actually, I wasn't really lying. Like, I mean, I was texting somebody. He's like, let me see your phone. And I was like, no, because you don't pay the bill. Why you see my phone? And he was like, I know you're lying. And I was just like, okay, well, if you think I'm lying, then, which I really wasn't, but whatever. If you think I'm lying, then I don't know what to tell you. So then I'm like reaching to get out the car, because literally I don't have time for this. I'm thinking it's something, I'm thinking I'm about to get some tea. I'm thinking it's something about to be something crazy, something serious, and it's not. Like, you just want to see my phone. Nigga, how old are we? So I keep clapping, y'all, like somebody take me to church. But so I'm grabbing the door about to leave, and that's when he like locked the doors, and every time I would tug on the door, he would lock it. So then he like, when I tried to get out, because I was actually causing the scene because I wanted somebody to see me, so he would leave me alone and I could just walk back to school. It was like a 5-10 minute walk back to campus. I didn't care. Anything to get away from Tasmanian Devil. Then he yoked me up and like held me by my face like this, and like had me in this position. And he was just like telling me like, don't move, like don't get out the car, or I know something, and so give me your phone. And I'm like, no. I kept saying no. So then he like was kind of choking me a little bit, and I like gave him my phone, but of course a phone has a password, so he didn't have a password. So then he was like, what's your password? And I wouldn't give him my password or whatever. And so I finally gave him my password, because that's when he pulled the gun out on me. So he had the gun up to me, up to like my side area. So he held the gun up to me and was like, give me the password. And bitch, when I said I gave him that password so fast, like I was like 31489, like I said here. So he went through it, and of course like he didn't find anything. I think he wanted to find me like in a relationship or booed up, or when I say he didn't find anything, and I think that's what went in rage. Like he found nothing, because when I say I really wasn't messing with anybody for real, I really wasn't. Like I said, there was a guy that I texted that I knew from high school that went to Morehouse. So it wasn't like, it wasn't nothing. I promise y'all, it wasn't really nothing. Like, we weren't established. I don't even consider us talking, if that makes sense. Like, it was a couple text messages passed here and there, but like I said, I was single, and I made it clear to him that I was single, and I consistently made it clear to him that I was single. I was like, we could be friends, but I am single, and he agreed to that. Anywho, he's now pulling out of the spot, still has his gun in the hand, still has his gun in his hand, or in his lap, and is driving, and then is like looking through my phone while driving. So he's like about to crash. Like, he almost crashed 10 times, and I'm just screaming like for help, screaming for my phone back. At one point I thought, forget the phone, like I just need to get myself somewhere. And so I started on the expressway when he went down, and he was telling me not to get out the car. I tugged on the door on the expressway, and he was like, if you open my door on the expressway, I'm gonna shoot your leg off, or if you try to run, I'm gonna shoot your leg off. And that's when I was like, okay, this is real. Like, he often had a way of like doing things or whatever, but then like I can tell there was a soft spot, and he would like, when he would post my nudes or whatever, act crazy, he would like delete it in like 5 minutes. But you shouldn't have still did it. But I knew that this go around, like, he was really triggered. So while we're going down 20, now Spelman is that Lee Street exit in the West End, and Panola is on the east side. So, you know, that's like a 30-minute drive. And so this is in the middle of the day now. This is before all y'all started moving to Atlanta, so it wasn't really traffic in the middle of the day. So we're driving, headed to the east side. He's like going through my phone. I'm crying. Actually, I wasn't crying. I was like yelling because I was upset, and he's like threatening to crash us and kill us both. So he was like, I'm gonna slam into the wall if you don't let me go through your phone. So, and because while he's driving, he has the gun in his lap, my phone in the other hand. So I was trying to reach for the gun, but I couldn't, because the way the gun was, it was on more so on his left leg in the driver's seat. So like I couldn't reach it because I have T-Rex arms. So I can kind of, this is not a funny situation, but I can make light of it now because it's so old and I've grown so much from it. So don't be like shocked or anything to hear me like crack jokes from here and there. But anywho, so I couldn't grab the gun, and so he's going through my phone. He's like about to wreck because he's trying to look down. He's threatening to crash, and he starts calling people. So every guy that's in my call list, whether a friend or a cousin or a relative, he in my recent messages, he's calling them. So he called a guy friend that I had at the time, literally just friends, nothing more, nothing less. And he called him and told him like, hey, this is Jose, don't ever, and I don't know if I said, but Jose is like a fake name, but don't ever speak to her again. This Jose, don't talk to her. And the boy just hang up because he's probably like, we're literally just friends, I don't have time for this. Then he called the boy that he called a bunch of other people, but I don't remember. But I remember for a fact he called that one boy, and then he called the boy that I had been texting or whatever, that went to Morehouse. And our text messages was literally, hey, what you doing, and the blah blah blah, where y'all going, are y'all going to spend Friday, because that was the thing, or y'all going to Peter Street. Like, when I say the text messages weren't anything, they weren't anything or whatever. And so he called him and was like, A-B-A-N, like, don't ever call her again. And y'all, when I say my heart sunk to the floor, because, you know, I liked his vibe. That's what I'm gonna say. I liked his vibe, and that he was like laid back, and I didn't want to mess things up or rush anything with him. So when this happened, like, I can't lie, my feelings was hurt, because that guy ended up telling me like, I apologized to him after all this happened. I was like, hey, sorry for what so-and-so said. Like, it's not true. We're not together. I filed a restraining order. And he basically hit me with the, I don't want anything to do with you because you coming with too much drama. And me and him talked about this maybe like a year or two after this happened, and he, you know, we laughed about it or whatever, and stuff like that. But at the time I was like, dang, like, you just messed up something that could have been something, if it was ever in the potential to be something, you know. And anywho, back to, so he's driving to Panola. We get to Panola Walmart. He's calling people. He's like sweating. He's contemplating on what to do with me. He's just telling me like, if I cause any attention or make a scene, he's gonna shoot me. and now he has the gun like pointed to my side again, like he's still having the gun point to me. And so at this moment, like, I'm thinking this is it. Like, he eventually gave me my phone back. So he left Walmart, and I ended up talking him out of like taking me back to school or whatever. So he takes me back to school, we're headed down there, he gives me my phone back. I'm texting my friends like, follow my location, check my location, check my location, like, don't, I was like, come get me or whatever. And a question would be, why didn't you call the police? But like, why would I call the police and he's sitting right next to me? He can just shoot me. So I know somebody gonna say that, so yeah, that's why I didn't call the police. So yeah, so my friend ended up following my location. I'm texting him, telling him what's going on while he's dropping me off. Like, we're getting off the exit back at Lee Street when I'm texting him and stuff. So he drops me off on campus or whatever, and I get out and I just block on Twitter, block on Instagram, block on Facebook, block on phone, block everywhere. You blocked, capital busy, blocked. And after that, I started getting death threats, like text messages. First, you know, they start with the apology messages, and then once you don't give into it from fake numbers, then they start sending the death threats. I started getting death threats saying that he was pretending to be a girl, saying that when I got out of class, you know, the next day he was gonna jump me, and I knew it was him because I didn't have any beef, and you know, everybody was cool with me. So who else could be doing this, y'all, right after this happened? So it was him, and he would just do some very narcissistic stuff, like making fake Twitter accounts, talking to me on there, making fake Instagrams, talking to me, sending me DMs, bothering me, harassing me, you know, just doing all type of stuff. And so 2 days after this, I get a call from his cousin. We gonna name him Jerome. So Jerome gives me a call and asks me where I am, and I'm with Sydney and this other girl I used to hang with, and we're out hanging out. And this was a Wednesday, because that incident happened on a Monday. So this was a Wednesday. I'm just trying to speed up, y'all. I don't want this video to be too long. So yeah, I get that call from Jerome, and he's telling me not to go home because Jose is plotting to kill me or whatever. Like, Jose told him he was gonna kill me. So Jerome tells Jose's dad, and Jose's dad ends up calling me, trying to, because I think at the time Jose was texting or calling his cousin and saying all this stuff from the house. And it's like it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna kill her or whatever. It was kind of like he was plotting. Like, Jerome could tell like he was serious, basically. So he calls his dad calls the police, tries to stall him, but then Jose ended up leaving. So Jose leaves, and Jose's dad calls me and tells me like, don't go home, he's trying to kill you. Like, I already called the police, like, but I couldn't stall him long enough. So I'm like panicking, trying to figure out what my parents are, but they were at Bible study or whatever. So I had my friend drive me all the way home. I left my car at school because I didn't want him to follow me. I didn't know if he was looking in that alley, or I don't know if he was watching me and watching my car, waiting on me to get in. Like, you know, you never know. So my friend took me home or whatever, and I called the police, called my parents, and then me and my dad went up there and got a restraining order that night. DeKalb County ended up telling me I had to go where the kidnapping happened. And because I ended up telling my parents everything, and so they told me to go to Fulton County since I got abducted in Fulton County. Fulton County then told me I had to go to his county in order to get a restraining order, so I went to the county he lived in to get that restraining order. Long story short, that happened in November. We didn't go to court until February, March, because he kept, I don't know, he wasn't making the court dates or something. His lawyer was coming up with excuses and all this stuff. So long story short, I got the restraining order, and I have not seen him or heard of anything about him ever again. Like, I don't ask about him. Casper. So yeah, but that was the end of the story. Basically, I told this story to help other women not ignore red flags, and also men as well. This is just my personal experience. I wish Jose the best. I hope he's happy. I hope he's learned from that situation, and I have. And you know, I'm happy now that I'm in a relationship where I don't have to deal with anybody who has treated me like that. So I just wanted to go ahead and tell that story. Y'all wanted it so bad. I told y'all it wasn't that intense. It was crazy, but it wasn't intense, and this is just my life, and I have millions of other stories. Not like that though, but you know, other stories. Hope you guys enjoyed this story. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want some more. And I'm gonna do the other story too, but I'm actually doing Get Ready With Me with that one. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you guys for watching.